All right, good evening and welcome everyone to a very special edition of the Wolff Den. Special for a few reasons. First and foremost, we are at edition 250. Wow, unbelievable. Also, a little bit special because your usual host is now in the hot seat. The CEO, founder of Ticket Time Machine, and general host of Wolff Den, Matt Wolff, is in the hot seat and he will be our special guest. Our special guest, I say, because your host is going to be, or co host, I should say, are myself, Evan, Matt's twin brother, and our older sister, Meredith.
Meredith, the older sister. We're really looking forward to mixing it up today. We might have some surprise guests, we might not. We're excited to introduce Matt Wolff, brother, son, husband, cat dad, entrepreneur, Gator fan. So let's get right into it.
Yeah, and just a quick note, if you're watching us live and you want to throw out a question, we're going to do kind of a little bit of a stream of consciousness. There's some form to it. So I'll have a little bit of structure, a little bit of stream of consciousness. If you want to participate, you're on live with us, go ahead and throw a question to the chat room. We'll try and monitor that and get to that too. But I've seen at least a handful of the 250 episodes. I know you like to sometimes just get right into the mix of things with some hot topics, some things out there. Obviously, your wife, Temi, former lawyer, former magistrate, current mediator for family affairs. Clearly, we're going to talk about Tom Brady and the Bucs, right? So what's going on? Is it father time? Is it the Giselle effect? Is there something else? What are your thoughts?
That's a good question. I don't know what to make of it. I think he doesn't have great supporting cast around him, but if you watch the game last week, he made some pretty poor throws. He was pretty good a year ago. I don't know. I think he's probably been struggling with his personal life for a long time, so I think that just feels like an easy excuse. But the teams are better. There's just better teams out there, and we'll see if he can make a season out of it. But I don't know. I wouldn't put too much stock into his relationship being the cause of the team's poor play.
So no chance the fix is in. They both kind of saw the team maybe wasn't as good. They pretend a little faux divorce. She's on the side betting against the Bucs week in and week out, making tons of cash by that action.
She's got more money than he does, I think.
That's what they say. Mary, what are your thoughts here? I know you're a sports expert, marriage connoisseur, definitely just a lover of all things topical. Where do you sit on the debate here?
Go Giselle.
Go Giselle.
So I would think
go girl.
You said jump right into controversy and hot dog. I thought you were going to go Kanye or Kyrie, but
yeah, that's next. We titled that one "What the Fuck." Yeah. I was told we're allowed to drop a couple F-bombs in the episode here. We'll hit it out early.
Yeah.
Well, where are we at with Kyrie? What's your?
I think it's a joke, to be honest with you. I think we'll see what happens with Adam Silver. He put out a statement today, and Kyrie, if you heard his interview, he's not interested in apologizing anytime soon, but trying to make it, he doesn't want people to think he's anti-Semitic. Kind of hard to feel that way when you double, triple down, don't apologize. They threw some money out there. Look, it's I had a conversation today in depth. It's a free world. It's we got breaking news on the Wolff Den. I don't know if this is verified or not, but Palevsky, our good friend Kevin, out in Arizona said, and he was the one I was talking with today, said it's suspended by Nets. Makes a lot of sense with his comments, especially after the message that Adam Silver tried to put out today. There's no place
or it doesn't matter. They kind of got in. If this is true, they did what they needed to do in terms of a suspension by the Nets.
I don't know what they took so long for, but I guess
there's case history here too, right? I mean, you've got why am I blanking on his name? Miles from Miami, right? He was playing a video game, said some anti-Semitic tropes. Was caught live stream, and he hasn't played a game since, right? He's been basically out of the league.
Yeah, the hot mic is a big thing. I think there's also a difference between just saying something. We've all said bad things, right? Saying it in the moment. People have to be held accountable more if you're Kyrie Irving. Again, separated from the team indefinitely. I don't know how he comes back from this. I really don't. Short of him giving an apology that no one's going to believe he believes. So it'd be interesting.
I think the Nets got off lucky here, to be fair. One, they suck. Two, if they suspend him indefinitely and they can kind of get him on one of those, detrimental to the team, they don't have to pay him. So I don't know why they didn't do this any earlier. Meredith, if you're not aware, Kyrie Irving sent out a text message or a tweet, I guess, in support. You're aware?
I'm aware.
Oh, go ahead. Fire away. What are your thoughts? In general, sports context, Kyrie, the whole thing.
Yeah, it's a rough one. I don't know how he's going to get out of it.
Yeah, to me, I think he kind of gets away with, or what he's trying to do, in my opinion, he's got this whole, deep thinker, the Aaron Rodgers nonsense. He's on another plane, and so he's answering the question. He's not saying no, but he's saying, "How can I be if you know where I stand and I'm all for all people?" And he's using, this idea that, well, he doesn't have to say yes or no because you know where he is, and it's just, to me, if someone asks, are you a rapist? You don't get theoretical. No. Did you beat your wife? No. Like, there are certain questions that you don't need to. You can expound after. Start with the very obvious no, and that he's not willing to do that. To me, is troubling. And whether he is or isn't, I'm not saying he is or isn't. It's just to me, a very foolish way to go about that.
Yeah, I think the last thing I'll say is I think it's important, whether it's anti-Semitism or whatever. We had this with racism. It's not enough to not be a racist, to not be anti-Semitic. You have to be anti-racism and anti-Semitism. I think that's a big deal. It's tough because you have other people coming to his defense. Jason Whitlock is tweeting now all this stuff and basically defending his. It's just terrible. There's the stuff that they're saying. It's not good. And the issue with Kanye and all that is they have all these followers, people who will defend them regardless of whether or not they even believe in it. They're going to defend them and that just makes it a much bigger issue.
All right, something equally as inflammatory, but for very different reasons. As Gators, what's your thoughts on Billy Napier era so far?
Some questionable play calling. I think what he's doing on the recruiting trail is good. He was inherited kind of a mess, but I think he was also inherited some talent. They very easily could be 8-0 and they could be 0-8. I'm excited for the future, but I'm disappointed in the season a little bit. A very tough schedule. But I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed in some of the coaching that he's done, some of the play. But I believe that he'll get it turned around. He needs time, just like everyone else.
Well, while we're on the Gators, predictions for the basketball team this season?
Yeah, we got a new coach in basketball too, Todd Golden, fellow Jew, and excited about him. I think he's going to be. I think he's going to do well. We have a lot of transfers again. So the portal, very heavy on the portal. Last year we were very heavy on the portal, and I think for the most part they kind of underperformed. If the players perform how they can, I think we'll be a top 4 team in the SEC, make the tournament again, and be headed back. But it's going to take a while to get back to the days that Billy was. Final Fours and Elite Eights and win a national championship. But I think they can make some noise this year. Pretty excited about it.
Awesome. Well, I know that Evan is really more the Yankees fan than you are. I should say he is the most diehard Yankees fan. But does Judge leave the Yankees? And if so, who signs him?
I don't think they're going to let him go. I think he's too important to them. I know he didn't do so great in the playoffs, but they wouldn't have even maybe been in the playoffs if it wasn't for him. They have enough money. I can't imagine that they wouldn't sign him. But if they don't, it's going to be the usual suspects. I think the Dodgers will be in the mix. Maybe the Padres might be in the mix. Maybe you get a trade going. But my prediction is the end zone.
I say they will not be overspent. So what I've read is the San Francisco Giants they're needing a piece. They've obviously kind of the Mets. Who knows? Maybe the Mets offer him. They've got plenty of dough. Is it just money, do you think, for him? I mean, or maybe is he clearly he's going to get a shit ton of it.
He's going to get money wherever he goes. I would think if it just all comes down to, does he like being a New York Yankee, which is a difficult thing to do, with the fans out there and the media. I think he's handled it well, and I think he's been treated well. I don't see any reason for him not to, but it's a personal decision. He's going to get money wherever he goes. And I think they can win. They're not that far away from winning. So I don't know why he would want. And I think, anyone saying he is going to leave might know something, more personal that isn't shared with the public, or maybe he just, or they're just guessing, which, half the experts are guessing anyway on all this.
Well, this is reminding me of our Yankee game that we went with our family recently, and I think we're going to switch topics over to family for a minute. And Evan has a question about you as your twin brother.
Yeah, so we kind of they say it's best to begin at the beginning. We kind of jumped around a little bit, but tell us, at least from a personal standpoint, from the beginning. Start young. What's it like growing up as a twin, having an older sister? Any middle child syndrome there? Technically, you're kind of in the middle of the three, if you want to go by the technicality of the clock.
A minute.
Yeah, so it's a weird. It's always a tough question to answer because I don't have anything to compare it to. Right? I never grew up not being a twin and not having a sister. So that's a tough to compare. But I think there's obviously there's positives and negatives. The good thing is you kind of have someone to be around all the time, and you and I basically were together our whole lives, save for a week or two of basketball camp, and then when you went away to UF for a year. So it's good to have that bond. And the downside is that you are connected, and it's hard to be apart. And so, like when I went to UF, I kind of fell into a lot with your crowd and the people that you were already friends with, and some of the friends that we came with. So it's important to have separate lives, and I think we sort of do that as we move further apart. But I think it's great. I think everyone should have family that is close, whether it's a twin brother or an older sister. It can be great, and we're very lucky to have that. And because not everyone does. There's people who don't talk to their brother, their sister, their twins. So I don't think that anything is owed to anyone, and I feel very lucky to have that.
I'm just curious, Evan, what's your answer to that question as the other half?
As the other half, having 4 children myself, I try and I thought really from a big sister standpoint, there's 2 ways you can kind of go, right? Like either, hey, I never got there, they're not getting anything, or you kind of show you're the pioneer, so that you get the good and the bad, and then you kind of root for those kind of coming behind you. And I thought, you did a really wonderful job of paving the way, right? Like the things that you didn't get at a certain time, you kind of advocated in a way. I don't know if you recall. I do. It meant a little bit to me.
I actually don't recall that or something specific. Yeah,
I think you did, and it's funny, especially now with kids having so many different things, like whether it's when do you get your first cell phone, when did Marley get her earrings versus Maddie, or things like that. And it is funny as a twin, I'm like the younger by a minute, so you get some of that, like the middle child versus the youngest child. It's kind of an interesting dynamic that there is still some of that, even though we're obviously.
I don't think I felt that, but I also I didn't get my earrings until I was 15 or 16 or something like that, maybe 7, I don't even know.
Wait, but Evan, what about like the twin part of that?
Yeah, no, I think it's it's wonderful. It's challenging, right? Because you do get kind of combined sometimes as though you're one person when you're 2 separate people. No, regardless of the being fraternal or identical. I think there's some of that and needing to kind of have your own thing. But I think it's changed, obviously, and again, thinking through my guys, the boys, right, and what their relationship is now, and hopefully what it might turn into in the future. Certainly, Matt and I always got along. We've always had our moments, but we didn't really have the relationship that we have now until later on. That was not the same in fifth grade versus in high school versus college and post college and now adults. It's definitely shifted or grown in a lot of ways, which I think is a good thing. And I try and be patient with my kids as they kind of are doing the same thing, right? Like the relationships that they have with each other, and our hope for Julie and I, for the kids, that we would want them to have these relationships that are close, but you have to let them.
Yeah, we all grew closer as we got older, which you get to that point where you're on your own, you're adult, you make your own decisions. You can either grow apart or you can grow closer. Yeah. And we obviously have grown closer, I think, all of us. I mean, a lot easier to get to there, but I think we all have, so it's good.
We would never ask you to pick your favorite twin. That seems
everybody has a favorite. I hate
incendiary.
People ask you that? Do people ask you that? Who is your favorite twin?
No. We'll make it, or I'll make it. I should say something to answer the question. We'll do something that's a little bit fairer. Who gave the better best man speech?
Oh, are you asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, well, actually, it's funny you even mentioned that, because I was going to say that I never even realized, this is going to sound probably really weird, but I feel equally close to both of you as an equal. And I never really realized how connected and close you were as twins until really both of your best man speeches, because they were just so special. So that is a really rough question.
Yeah, we don't need to, no one needs to answer who thinks the favorite. But if you do off the record, and it's not just us, everyone, they all have a favorite. I think with kids and nephews, and it probably changes all the time. You're like, well, this week, this one's my favorite. Next week, that one's probably my favorite.
So he's saying who gave the best man speech?
No, I get that. I was just asking about the better. Well, Evan's a better writer than I am, but I think I've improved.
I think yours was very, very good. I remember they were both excellent.
Yeah, I've improved over. Well, it's also much. Good writers can almost write about anything. For me, there's things that I'm very passionate about and that I believe in and care about, and so for me, that makes writing that stuff easier.
Right.
All right. So the answer is there's no answer.
There's no
answer. Easy way
out. I did realize I forgot to brand myself here.
There you go. So what about like a favorite twin moment? I don't know if you have one, Matt. I've got probably one that I think is kind of fun.
My favorite twin moment.
Yeah.
I didn't. The moment I got a call that said I got into UF might be my favorite moment. And then I knew I was, because I didn't think I was going to UF. I didn't really belong to get in, and some lady, and I wish I knew her name and who it was, but she had appealed for me because I had written a letter and called me. It was actually on our birthday to say that I got in. Wow. And I had no business going, and now it would be like, I don't know if any of us could get in right now. It's crazy how good it is. But that's probably that's a twin moment, and being able to play sports with Evan. That's not a moment, but that's been always to be able to play on the same team.
Yeah, I would. It's funny because we get your speech is kind of what reminded me of the question, right? Where all the dumb questions that you get sometimes as a twin. But it was funny. I remember when you came to visit, and we were getting ready to go out, for the night, and you were like, "Hey, can I borrow a shirt?" And I'm like, "Yeah, just grab whatever you want." And then I had run off into the shower, and I came back, and I'm like, "Oh, I was gonna wear that shirt." And you're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "The shirt. I was gonna wear the shirt." You're like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "Well, you're wearing my shirt." And you're like, "No, I'm not." And I looked in my closet, and then there was my exact same shirt in the closet. And it turns out that while you were at home, for the year, we'd end up buying the same shirt. And then I was like, well, that was kind of an oddity. because we don't necessarily dress the same. I mean, similar in some settings, opposite in others to a degree. So I thought that was kind of funny that we had the same. I remember it was like kind of a purple, bluish, and white and gray structure shirt. Big shout out to Structure, which I don't think exists anymore.
Bringing it back.
So that was for me anyway. I thought was kind of a fun moment. Meredith, next question's up to you.
Yeah. Well, okay. Growing up, I don't think you were, well, we could talk about the business that you did own growing up, actually, now that I think about it, and we can get back to that. But obviously you weren't anticipating owning a business such as Ticket Time Machine, which we're all branding here today now. What, if anything, did you want to be? What were you thinking when you were growing up?
Yeah, I wanted, well, I wanted to, I guess I wanted to be a professional athlete. I think that I realized that wasn't going to happen very early. But when I was in college, I'm a big movie fan, and I wanted to work in movies and work in movie trailers and promotion, the previews, movie previews. And I reached out to so many people to try and get a job or an internship. Didn't do great in college, so I wasn't able to get one. And that kind of, I started to do marketing promotions to look for it, and I couldn't get a job. I couldn't get anything, so that kind of died. But that was that's what I wanted to do, marketing promotions. And I love movies, so trying to work in the movie industry. I think you might be referring to some gambling stuff that I done. That was mom and dad. I don't know that was really owning a business or having any kind of entrepreneurial. Although I guess it does. But
it's pretty entrepreneurial. I think Evan story.
Yeah, our parents always wanted us to think about doing for yourself, because they both did, and they thought that was the best way. And I definitely appreciated it.
Well, I thought we would go with the safety number sign, which, by the way, you guys don't have kids. There's this
very good idea.
Really, there's this really before Halloween.
Explain to everyone what the safety number sign is, because you just got
Yeah. So safety number signs was our mom, all of our mom, Barbara, was like, still to this day, we'll try and find some sort of get rich quick sort of scheme or business idea, very entrepreneurial. And I think she had read about it or heard about it somewhere where someone else was doing it either in another state or something. And so she had the idea to create these safety number signs. And what it was is you'd use this spray paint that kind of a special light up, against the lights for safety.
Wow.
So if there was an ambulance or a fire truck needed to come, or even for someone trying to come visit your house, a lot of times number signs are not super visible. You can't really tell. And this way, if you have a curb or on the curb, we would stencil in the numbers. And it was a phenomenal business idea. We worked hard. And we made a pretty good amount of money in a short period of time.
The interesting thing about that was that you're especially back then, were way more outgoing, but you made me, I think, do a lot of the face and talking. And there's a lot of instances where I was the one who had to do, the talking and put myself out there. When back then you were way more social and less shy than I am. And I think even still today, you'll talk, to strangers more than I can. I warm up pretty quickly, but I think you don't even need to be warm. You just get right in and we'll talk to anyone. I think it's a great thing to have the ability to do, but it's funny how I had to do. But yeah, mom always wanted us to do, and we came up with those ideas. And I think I probably for 20 years have been trying to think of something to do. And I had these ideas. I had a lot of good ideas of things that I can do, but I was a little bit lazy. I was a little bit, I don't know but the second I got that first roadblock, I just kind of stopped. I can't do this. This isn't going to work.
I don't think it's lazy. I think you were a little uninterested or unsure.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, there's definitely some laziness. There was some laziness to it, but I just didn't go. And when the Ticket Time Machine, I had this idea for Ticket Time Machine, I said, this is going to happen. It's not going to matter what deterrents or roadblocks that I have. And so I just went. Sometimes I wish I would have done that for some of the other ideas, because I think I've had some good ideas. But timing is a lot of things in life, and the timing worked out well.
All right,
actually,
we're gonna do a timeout.
Oh, yeah, fine.
Switch
I want to
gears?
continue on this because I do want to ask a follow-up question. But yes, we have a
Got
special
a
guest.
special guest live. Come on in. Say hello. Don't be shy.
Yeah,
Ooh, la, la.
you gotta come down.
Oh,
See you.
you gotta bend down a little bit. Say hello. Tell everyone who you are.
Okay.
This is live.
Hi. A lot of people.
But maybe. Who knows?
I'm Marley, his niece, and I have a question for you.
Sure.
So I heard that you like concerts. Is this true?
I love concerts and music. I didn't really become a huge music fan probably until I got to college. In high school, I was one of those guys who would listen to the radio, and I'd have a cassette there, and I'd listen to the top 40, and I would record. But my, being fanatical about music and concerts really started in college as you were going out to the bars and the clubs and hearing music. And then, once I get the taste of events, it was, I think, I don't know what life would be without concerts. And I got another one tomorrow, going to see Luke Bryan. Seen him a bunch of times, but events, music, it's what I'm, aside from obviously family, and it's what I'm most passionate about. I think I probably would even give up the Gators if I could have to choose between the Gators and music.
I think Kevin just fell off the road. Are you okay, Kevin, driving with the news that Matt would give up the Gators for music if he had to choose between the two?
I think music's the most important, but again, besides the family, I think for me, music is the most important thing in my life.
Interesting.
How many? I mean, the total number obviously might be difficult to calculate. What would you say on an annual basis? Maybe you find yourself going to how many concerts a year?
Probably, it could be close to 50.
It's all nearly weekly on average, right?
Yeah, because there's like I went to 3 in 1 week, so I would say I probably average 1 a week. Maybe it's 40, but it's a lot. And and there's more I would go to for whatever reason, timing. I'm out, I'm away. I'd like to do more concerts and festivals outside of here, and so that's what hopefully Ticket Time Machine will get me to a little bit. But I've seen some great concerts outside. Just from being at the Final Four, I saw Bruce Springsteen play with Fun, and you just in another Final Four I went to, I saw Huey Lewis in the News, and so it's just I've been very fortunate. There's not a whole lot of people that I haven't seen that I would like to. Ed Sheeran's on. I don't know if this is a question, but Ed Sheeran's on the list, and he's coming next year. So
that was Marley's follow-up. You stole it from her. Come on.
Yeah.
Wait, what was it? Say it.
Did you ever see Michael Jackson?
I never saw Michael Jackson. That's of all the people that are gone, and I can't. Michael Jackson might be at the top of the list. I never got to see Paul Simon and Neil Diamond. They're not. They're still with us, but they're not touring anymore. I had a chance to see the Rolling Stones, and I didn't. That's another. I think they'll probably tour again. Who knows? They still got it, but that's a great question. I think Michael Jackson might be the one that I've never saw that if I could go back and see. There's so many great choices from back in the day. People were gone before I even started going to concerts, but yeah, that's a popular question, and I think it's probably Michael Jackson.
Any other questions, Marley?
No.
All right.
Are you gonna stick around?
You're
sticking around, or you're out of here?
I could stick around for like 5 minutes.
All right.
See you next
We
weekend.
got homework. Yeah,
So-
we'll see each other.
You had a follow-up to your question, if you remember it, or you want to move on?
I think I can't remember it. We'll have to move on.
All right, so kind
Sorry.
of traveling down the same road, kind of this creature of habit, right? Where music, not necessarily the same concert, although I'm sure you've seen, Dave Matthews, every time he comes through, you're famous with your gummy worms. But just kind of that idea, no trip to New Jersey is complete unless you've been to Wong's or Bagel World. So that versus, the new experiences, and I know you enjoy or appreciate new experiences. Where does that come from? Right?
That's a good question. I don't know. I am a creature of habit, like more than anyone I know. And I think it's hard to know how much of the creature of habit you guys are, as opposed to like when you're with me, you're joining in my habits. I don't know, because I am adventurous. I like to try new things, but I also go to what I like, and it happens. I think New Jersey, I'm probably a creature of habit, especially with food, than say here. Although we go to a lot of the same restaurants. I go to Vegas and Nashville, and I do tend to go to the ones I know I like it. I'm very good at knowing what I'm gonna like, and so yeah, I don't know where it comes from though. It's a good question.
You want to go where everyone knows your name?
I know for me, when I have something that I do out of a creature of habit, it's something that brings me comfort.
Yeah,
it just feels like home, and that's why it feels very comfortable, and that's for me why I moved. I watch a movie more than once.
Yeah,
more than 10 times.
I don't mind being uncomfortable, but it definitely gives you comfort and confidence that it's going to be a good experience. And I value the experiences that I do, whether it's going to Wong's or Bagel World, or I haven't gotten to see the Nerds play in a while, but that used to be a thing, or whatever it is. There's just certain things I do, and
let's see if it's generational. Marley, are you traditional? No, not necessarily Wong's and Bagel World, but as you think of the things that you like to do, would you prefer to kind of have the one or two places and you're always going back, or do you like it when we try and explore, kind of new places? Like even like say vacation. Is there a favorite place that you would just keep going to, or do you want to go to new places?
For skiing, we go to Camelback all the time, and I like it because I know where everything is and I know what to expect. So even though it's like the same, you can change it up because you know what it's going to be. So you can change how you react. So you can change up what jumps you do because you know what twists are in the trail.
All right.
But I think it's fun to switch it up once in a while, like completely switch it up.
That's right.
Skiing, the last time I went skiing, what happened?
No.
I was never a good skier. Always afraid of it. And then this has got to be 10 years ago, maybe.
Yeah.
You guys own a house in the Poconos, but it's on top of the mountain, and I had to get to the bottom of the mountain before I could start. And I thought, what the hell? I could probably just get down this mountain. And next thing you know, I'm going straight down and ran right into someone. Nobody got injured, hopefully. And then they told me I had to go on the bunny. Normally, I would have had to watch
Yeah, he wanted you to watch a video. The
guys
to watch a video.
You guys have some pole in the area, and I ended up going in the beginner hill, and then I got on the hill. But yeah, it's not. I don't. I think it's great. Like Marley and all the kids ski, and you got to get them when they're young, when they don't know any better, to be afraid of that stuff. Because it terrifies me. But
yeah,
you guys. Even like you're, I know Meredith probably agrees with this probably more than me. Is like when you FaceTime us and you're skiing, I'm like, just go have fun. We'll talk to you later.
It makes me so nervous.
Very nervous.
I love seeing you guys. Anytime you want to call, I would love to see your face. And when you're on that lift and you're holding the phone, it makes me. I am so afraid of heights that even just watching that just freaks me out.
You might even prefer them to FaceTime while they're driving than while they're skiing.
Oh no!
I'm scared that we're going to drop the phone.
I think more control if you're driving.
Not when Marley's driving.
No, not Marley. No, not yet.
Well, while we have Marley here, maybe we switch the order a little bit and talk about holidays, because you're going to see Marley soon.
Yeah.
For a few holidays, but like Thanksgiving being one of them.
Oh, and I think Marley has a strong opinion on this question.
Oh well, I mean, if it's about turkey, she does.
No. So let's ask Matt. Go ahead, Mary. Go throw it out there.
No, you go.
All right. So, what's the earliest holiday lights belong up, and then when is it? What's the latest they should stay up? See, Marley, she's
about Christmas.
Let Matt answer, and then you can throw
about Christmas lights.
Yeah.
I mean, for people who don't know, we're Jewish, so we don't put up the lights. I would, I guess tradition would be after Thanksgiving, they can go up, and then I would say, if you keep them up till New Year's, but after New Year's, you would think that they would come down. I mean, that's probably traditional. I like lights, so to me, I don't care if you can have them up all year round. Doesn't matter to me.
But traditionally, so Marley, your thoughts?
Well, I agree with this, but I think you'd be surprised with how many people already have them up before Halloween even starts.
Yeah, that's early. That's early, but
Yeah, or the day after Halloween. Everybody's talking about it, but they're wrong.
yeah, I don't know. I like the lights. Also, it's different for us because there's something about lights in the winter with the snow and different lights in Florida. I don't know how to explain it, but it's just a different feel when there's lights. So it feels like less time in Florida than it should in New Jersey.
Meredith, hold on. Meredith, your thoughts here.
My opinion, I don't have an opinion on this. I love the lights. I think they're very festive and fun, and they should put them down whenever they want to. That's
Well, in New York, they should always have lights because that's very pretty in New York.
Yeah, it's beautiful to go look, and that was always fun doing. Is I think that after dinner we would just drive around in New Jersey as a family growing up and see lights, and that was always really nice.
We've carried that on when we get in the heart of the season. After the kids have gotten older, maybe sometimes opinions change, but certainly as they're younger, they tend to really enjoy the lights and seeing a different.
It's big business now.
Yeah.
There's a house here that has the radio station that the music plays and the lights go to it. It's and the line for people to go through a park with lights, which I don't think are great. I think I can go through a neighborhood and see better lights. The line is crazy. Take you an hour plus just to get into the park, to drive around for 20 minutes or so. And again, the lights are just okay. So look, let people do. Is it bothering anyone? I don't know. I do have an opinion on it, but I also think out of the opinions.
Again.
What Matt? What's your favorite holiday?
My favorite holiday, my birthday. Does that count?
Yeah. Well, you have a tradition also for your birthday.
It used to be. Yeah, I used to go. Now there's like some events that go, but I do go to Key West to celebrate my birthday, not always on my birthday. I love Thanksgiving, and hopefully we'll get together with all of our friends, before Thanksgiving. I get to see people that I don't get to see often. Thanksgiving, I love. I used to love New Year's. I don't, party and go out as much anymore on New Year's. But, those are probably my birthday is probably my favorite. But I have to say Thanksgiving because there's only 1 year that I didn't make it up to New Jersey. I think it was one, and I think I stayed down.
Saying my birthday, not our birthday. Just
for my mom. Well, our birthday when we get to celebrate it, but we haven't celebrated too many of them together lately. We had a few that were good, but yeah, I've only missed one being in New Jersey. I think 1 year in 46 years. So I would, Thanksgiving's got to be high up there.
Yeah.
Sure.
Marley, you have any more questions as you're listening?
Well, I came kind of late, so I don't know what you're talking about before.
Whatever, anything goes, man. This is a stream of
your minds where it's all fair game in the Wolff Den.
Okay. Why isn't your wife on the show right now? She wasn't invited.
That's a good question. She had an event tonight, and she might pop up or in. And but her two of our favorite sports teams have very important games right now. The Phillies are in the World Series.
Oh, yeah.
And the Eagles are playing on Thursday Night Football. So she's trying to navigate through those two and eat dinner. And she got home late from an event. She was on the 200th. She was our guest for the 200th episode, and she did a great job.
So your take, just quick question, right? So she's got the Phillies and the Eagles both playing at the same time. Is that heaven or hell?
For her?
For anyone? For you? For her? What's your thoughts?
No, I think, the Eagles game is not a big deal. It's good if they can stay undefeated, but ultimately that doesn't matter. The Phillies, she was at game 3, and that's a big game. Game 5, I think you can make an argument who wins this game is going to win the World Series, so it's a big game.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't really root for the Phillies. I'll root for the Eagles because I'm a Marlins fan, but I root for the Mets and Yankees, so it's hard for me to root for the Phillies. I won't be upset. I don't hate them the way I hate some other teams, but I won't root for them in the way I would root for the Eagles or the Sixers. those are two of her teams that I'll root. Yeah, and if she's happy, if they win, then I'm happy.
Speaking of Temmie, what's your favorite, what was your favorite thing about her when you met her? And what's your favorite thing about her now?
Yeah, it's probably the same. Just the ability to do nothing, and really some of the best times we had of just sitting there doing nothing together. Nothing in particular together. It could be you're just hanging out and not doing anything special. I think that's what really drew me to her. I mean, she also I'm a tough person to deal with sometimes and to handle, and I have a lot of policies and traditions, and
Policies.
She lets me be me, and not always easy to do is to let someone be who they are and love them unconditionally. And I think I do a good job of that too, but I think she does it's probably harder for her to deal with me than it is for me to deal with her, I would think.
Well, I think everyone thinks that.
That's a very nice attribute.
Yes.
You guys both not allergic to dogs?
I have allergies to some dogs. She is not allergic to dogs or cats. I'm allergic to cats, but obviously having them here, I have gotten, you sort of get used to it. That's why they say you should have pets early on so the kids won't be allergic to them.
Oh.
Maybe that's what happens to me. So the question is, would you get a dog?
Yeah, I'd love to get a dog. I'm a pug guy. Anyone who knows me knows I love pugs, but I'm not around enough to have a dog. It's my schedule that's the reason why I don't have one. It's the reason why I've never had one, and I don't know when that's going to change. I think my schedule is going to get more hectic, even in town and then out of town. So, but I would love to have a dog, a little dog. I'm a small dog guy instead of a big dog.
I want to talk a little bit about, we've been talking a lot about sports, which is a very big passion of yours. And we want to talk about the business too. But
yeah,
before we get into that, we know you go on sports weekends and you're the one who actually arranges them. So, which is amazing. You've kept a very close group of friends, childhood friends connected for a lot of years, and a lot of great experiences. Do you have any favorite story or memory from those weekends away, or if you want to pull up something interesting or fun?
Yeah, what
I know what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, so we get that. We know there's been a lot of
I don't think the crazy stuff happened in Vegas. I think it's happened elsewhere. I love that trip. It's so great, and credit to Evan and Kevin who started the whole thing. I actually missed the first one. Been on every year since. I was unemployed the first year. I was living with grandma, and she kind of guilted me into not going, which I don't have a lot of regrets in life. That's a regret I have, is not going anyway, because memories, money, time, all of that. I know we might disagree on this. It'll be there, and I think you never know when you'll have the opportunity. Now, I've been lucky. I've been on 21 of them since, or right, 20 or 21. I think 21.
Yeah.
But you never know when you're going to get to do something again. And so when you have that opportunity, I think you should jump on it. That's how I've always lived. But certainly as stuff happens in life, you kind of just really, that reality hits you. And so do I have any favorite moments? I mean, there's so many great moments. Nothing comes to mind. I have some trips that were fond, that I liked better. Some because of where we were, some because of who, the teams we played and the significance of it. And then some just, stuff that happened, when Rob is, punching Chipper Jones. We were acting, silly. We still play football. I mean, we act like sort of kids, but we're more mature, right? I'm not doing anything that's dangerous per se, but it's a great trip. I love traditions. I have a bunch of them. And, I think traditions are great to have traditions, and it's not easy to do. That's the other thing. It's just not easy to do something that many years in a row. Regardless, there's always stuff that comes up, and for the majority of us, we've just been able to navigate through that, and that's a testament to the closeness of us and our being friends, but the commitment that people have. And Dave Frendell flew from Paris to join. David Wolkus selfishly flew in for one day just so he can go to the NFL game. But and we're all I've become closer with people that I was close with, but and friendly with, but not anymore. I'm going to a wedding next weekend with Jeff's wedding. I did not go to his first wedding, but now Jeff and I are, we're good friends, and David too. I wasn't at David's wedding, and I hope he never when he renews his vows and has a party. I will be there because
nice Dave.
All right, you know what? I lied. One more question, then let's get to the business because I want to hear more about Ticket Time Machine and like a little more behind that. But what's one thing you want your nephews and nieces to learn from you?
I think I think how important family is, and I don't think it's just me. I know Evan and you both make it, but just how important family is. And none of us are perfect. There's going to be times when you're not happy with your family, and that's okay. We fought a lot more when we were younger than we do now, but we still have our moments. And but at the end of the day, we have a small family too. So I know they're a little bit luckier. There are 4 of them, and maybe the ability to increase the size of the family. But that's it. The most important thing, and I think it's important to learn from the things that are not good too, right? Seeing the things that you don't like or bad behavior or things that I might regret having done. And happy to talk about any of it with them when the time comes. But learning, I think I learned a lot about what I didn't like growing up as much as I learned what I do like.
Yeah. All right, Evan. Let's kick it off to the business a little bit.
Yeah, and funny because we had a small, I would say, argument, conversation would be a better word, in the car regarding some of our prep work and language that was or wasn't used. The person who then went out and described himself in the exact same way. So I guess that gives me carte blanche. I wrote in my own notes, like I think it would not be unfair to describe your early days as far as working as lazy or disinterested, and there's no question. I think not that you need us to be proud of you, but in our own way, we obviously look at what you're doing in a certain light, and certainly pride is among many words that come to mind. And so you've thrown yourself completely into this, this business, hosting 249 episodes. We'll take credit for this one, the Wolff Den, and it's just so that kind of, is amazing to see that transformation. And it's hard to ask specific questions. So let's just give you the floor for however long you want to kind of ramble on about the genesis of Ticket Time Machine, what those first couple of days might have been like, how you even came up with the idea that you were going to do a podcast, and then prepare to do one, which is something obviously you've never, done previously. And then maybe a little bit about, where you see Ticket Time Machine or what your kind of, your hopes are. So I guess those are a handful of maybe jumping off points, as opposed to specific questions.
So look, if I could go back when I was in college, I would concentrate more on what's going to happen after college. I wasn't a good student. I'm more of a street smart kind of guy than I am a book smart guy. Always was. I was never going to do well grade wise, but I could have done more to prepare myself for life after. And that really, it hurt me. Evan, you did a great job of that. You had an internship, you had a job lined up, and then it's just, you did a great job of having that. And it kind of pushed you into, and I don't know, those jobs were good jobs. I don't know if they were great jobs for you, how happy you were at them, but the combination of me not having any internships and moving down to Florida, which is not a great place unless you're a lawyer, it's just not a great place to get a job. So I had trouble finding any kind of job. And then I got to a job. It was sort of a scam. And then mom introduced me to someone to try and get me out of that scam, and ended up into another scam. And so I had a lot of time of being at a bad job, and a bad paying job, and laziness, whatever it is. It's just, I need to be motivated to do to be the best me and to do the best work. And none of those jobs did that. And again, so I'm making very little money at a job I don't like. And, you know, Dad always told me to go into sales. I just didn't think I could do it. I didn't think I thought I would have to be pushy and phony. And it turns out you don't have to be that way to be successful. So when I got my first sales job, I was doing well, but I have my own, you know, I'm a guy who stands by what he believes in. And that doesn't always agree with corporate America. And so I had some butting of heads with the sales job that I had, even though I was doing very well, and ended up parting ways. Took a long time to get another job. And you'll remember the first day at World Compliance was a Thursday. It was Thursday, July 5th. And I called you both and I said, I'm not going back. And I was almost in tears because, you know, I was out of work for like 3 years. And you said, look, go back, see what happens. And, you know, I went back. It was better. The next week, less than a year later, they get bought out. Now I'm, you know, at LexisNexis, winning awards, doing well. And but it's not, again, it's dealing with a lot of corporate red tape. And I don't like being told what to do any more than I like telling people what to do. It always just, I think it was going to culminate with me doing my own thing and just needed to find that. And I found it with Ticket Time Machine. 2 years later, I left and went all in on it. And, you know, it's been a struggle at first, like any business, but it's what I'm passionate about. You can always tell when I'm talking about something that I'm passionate about, whether it's Ticket Time Machine or my family or the Gators or music or movies. And so when you have that feeling about it, it just makes it a lot easier. And in a way, I'm selling myself here. So, you know, we're not where we need to be. Very excited about where we're headed, having some good conversations, and those conversations eventually have to lead to business, but I'm confident that they will. And, you know, the same way everyone thinks of Ticketmaster as Ticket, which they're not a ticket company, they're a software company. I want them to think about Ticket Time Machine. When you think about commemorative tickets and printed memories, I want people to think about Ticket Time Machine, and we're on the way. The Wolff Den was just, people said you need to do content. They said do LinkedIn Live. In order to do LinkedIn Live, you have to connect it to someone, a software like StreamYard, which we're on now. And so I was like, well, I'm not going to sit there and talk. Like, nobody wants to hear me just talk for 5 minutes. But it's hard to do. It's very hard to do. You can do a minute. You know, you have to write it down and script it. Everything we do here is unscripted, which I think makes it easier. So I was like, well, let's just bring people on, let them share their story. And we've had some great people that you've heard of, some people you've never heard of, some great stories of, you know, people who just have beaten the odds and have been through hell and are here to talk about it. And it's just, if one person watches any of these episodes and gets inspired or sad or happy or any of that, then we're doing okay. And, you know, we're unedited. We're just sort of out there right now. But eventually, when I have the resources, we're going to start clipping, and we're going to have a great podcast with a lot of great content and get even bigger and better guests. But we strive for the top. I mean, I go and talk to anyone, say, hey, I've reached out to Howard Stern and Oprah Winfrey and Tony Robbins to come on the show. I haven't heard from any of them. And I do the same with Ticket Time Machine. I go and I reach out to the CEO of the biggest companies in the world to say, hey, we can help you. Now, let them send me to someone else. But we're going for it. And we think what we have is good, is great, a great option. And I don't put anyone above. I don't care how much money you have or how powerful you are. I'm the CEO of this company, and I'm going to reach out to the CEO of any company. It's up to them if they want to respond or not.
Matt, we are very, very proud of you. That's an understatement. And by the way, I just realized I actually have one of your tickets.
Yeah, the Marlboro Mustangs.
The Marlboro Mustangs.
Speaking of the Mustangs, their football team is in the playoffs.
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit about I know that you offer not only tickets, but tickets into different genres, and memorabilia spans across different types of events and experiences. Can you talk about some of those?
So we're keeping the printed memory alive, and it started out with this. This is called a thermal ticket, a Ticketmaster ticket, a box office ticket. This is what we used to get all the time. And so it started out with this. You can read the story online, but this is how everything started. And then I said, well, let's do something unique, because in the printing world, there's thousands and thousands of printers who can just print almost whatever you need. But then we figured, let's do something unique. And so this is where we got the animated idea and started to offer this. So the core of what we do is really going to be the animated. We've launched a site where you can buy these tickets to any show you've ever been to and write the information you want. But that's the core of what we do. And then we've done bar mitzvahs and weddings and 8th grade dances and any type of charity event where you can just, make passes on there. And we've added digital experiences to the physical because everything's digital, but you can have the physical and add digital. And then we had an idea to add this, and here is Marley and Braden at the game we went to, and a ticket that I printed for it. And this is a photo, and you can inscribe whatever you want, and it's magnetic. So just always trying to enhance the experience.
Marley has a related question. Go out there while he's in the topic.
I know, like, you can, when you make the ones that move around, you could do a bunch of different pictures, but can you do like a video almost? So like pictures all in a row, so it looks like one movement.
Yeah, you can do a video. I have the wedding one, but this is the one with the where a car can go. So it's a 3-second video. It's got to be. The videos are harder to do because they got to be high res and high definition in order for it to really look good. We have magnets too. So here's a My Little Pony magnet that we do. And but the first thing that I did with the video was a wedding. Temi and I took a video when we were in Las Vegas together, and I was able to get it for our wedding party favor. So here's a video. Marley, I don't know if you'll remember this, but back in the day, you used to have those flip books, and you would flip it real fast, and it would animate. So that's essentially what this is. It's 30 frames split up into 3 seconds, and it's just going real fast as opposed to back and forth. And really just it's such a cool technology that very few people can do, and we do it better than everyone. And we have some other stuff where we can put variable information underneath the lens. A lot of companies can't do that. Most of the people going into doing this stuff, a lot of the stuff that we do, they're getting it from China. We operate in the U.S. only, which is important to me. And no, it's been fun and stressful, and a whole lot of Mike, a lot of Marlboro people coming in. Thanks for joining, Mike, and
so
our old neighbor, great family friend.
So speaking of things that are important to you, Braden didn't get a chance to come in, but he had a question that he was going to ask regardless of whether you were wearing a hat or not, or whichever hat you were wearing. But as it turns out, it is topical. He was going to say, so tell me about that hat you're wearing. And again, that was coming regardless of whether you were wearing a hat. He thought that was
your nephew.
This is Same Here is a global mental health organization that I champion for. And they use the hashtag 5 and 5, meaning everyone has some sort of mental health issue that they're dealing with. And we got more information scrolling at the bottom. You decided to start a Same Here endurance team. You were riding, you're an Ironman finisher, doing some endurance races, and you were running for Fuck Cancer, which is a great cause, but decided to start a Same Here endurance team. And so we're going to try and get some visibility for the organization, and as you and others do endurance races, whether it's Ironman or triathlons, and just try and get the conversation going. It's important. There's too many people that we're losing, old and young, famous, not famous. It's not good. And so we need to concentrate on everyone. Generally speaking, 1 in 5 people have a mental illness. So we don't focus on, Same Here doesn't focus on that 1 in 5. They focus on the 5 and 5. Everyone else who has these issues that could build up and become that. And so it's just that mental health is so important. I don't think there's enough attention on it. We use the hashtag mental health is health, right? They always talk, the great analogy is you break your elbow, you're going to go to a doctor, right? If you have stuff going on up there that's causing you to not feel well, you should go see someone and talk to someone. And they got a lot of resources for you that don't even have to do with seeing a doctor or any kind of medication. And it's a great organization, and I'm honored that you decided to start the a Same Here endurance team. But I champion for a lot, but I don't think I champion for anything more than I do mental health. And there's a lot of good causes out there.
Absolutely. No, thanks for opening and sharing. So as a sports related sort of show, the best words you can hear is overtime. But we are in overtime. We recognize that. So if you got to drop off, folks who have been here, for the hour, thank you for joining us. We've really enjoyed the time. For those who want to stick around for a little bit of extra overtime, we've got a few more questions, topics that we'll explore, but we're not going to stay terribly late.
The record is over 2 hours, so I don't think we'll get there, but we'll stay as long as you guys want.
Yeah.
Well, we're on a rapid fire close, right?
Yeah, go ahead.
You keep going.
Yeah, so you're famous, if we can say so, on your podcast on the Wolff Den here for the Mount Rushmore. So we've got a couple of different Mount Rushmores we want you to talk to. We'll start with sports.
Sure. My sports Mount Rushmore, I actually have a Mount Rushmore that's sitting here. So are you asking me who are my favorite or who are the best?
You coined the Mount Rushmore question.
Yeah, people always ask, so I have Elway, Dale Ellis, Elway, Dale Ellis, Bo Jackson, and Ken Griffey. That's my Mount Rushmore of what I like. Elway's my favorite athlete of all time. This is one of the first collectibles I ever had. It was Elway, and I have a lot of stuff. He's my favorite athlete of all time, so he's on there. Dale Ellis is my favorite basketball player of all time. Played for the Seattle Supersonics. I have Bo Jackson up there and Ken Griffey Jr. I don't know that they're my favorite players. If you're asking me who the best in the Mount Rushmore is, man, that one's probably even tougher. It's easier to go by sports. I think Michael Jordan belongs on there. I think Wayne Gretzky belongs on there. I think Serena Williams might be my choice.
No Tigre?
Who?
No Tigre?
Tiger? Yeah, maybe Tiger.
Maybe. I don't know that anyone, in my opinion, has changed sports.
Yeah, that's probably true.
The way that he has.
The thing is, the stuff at the end, it kind of makes you. It makes you.
Not about liking him, just about.
I mean, I think Tiger
to the game. I don't know that anyone's meant more to their sport than Tiger meant to golf.
Yeah, I can't. That's hard to argue. It's so tough to pick. I think he's the greatest golfer of all time, and I was hoping he would break the record for majors. But yeah, I love my Mount Rushmore. I'm a big fan of fan art, and that's one of my favorite pieces.
All right, Mary, you're up.
Very good. So let's go to a little rapid fire, and we'll close this out. But we want to know what's your favorite country or city to visit.
Yeah. Oh man, I love Munich, and I loved Ireland. I'd like to get back to Ireland. Those are places that I've been. Ireland is probably the place that I've been that I'd like to get back to the most.
Wow, we were there together.
Yeah, we were there together. It was a great trip. I loved it. I'd love to get back. Key West is my favorite city in America. I don't know that it's even close. Gainesville is up there, and there's a lot of Nashville, Austin, but Key West is my favorite city in America. I don't even have to think about that.
Braden, I know you're in there. Come on up.
We already asked your question. You have to come up with another.
we need you. We're doing a rapid fire. Hey, Braden.
Hey, Braden, welcome.
We're doing a rapid fire. So we want to ask Uncle Matt, what's your favorite,
That's not that how you were.
I never used when I grew up, I used to hate my hair and I'd wear hats all the time. And then I sort of when I got to college, I kind of embraced the hair and liked it. And I was getting it spiked, and you saw in the picture I had some weird stuff. So I don't really wear hats that much anymore. I have a ton of them here. I mean, I got stuff. This is people were supporting the Savannah Bananas, who's a customer. This is the Same Here hat. Michael Fronte, one of my favorite singers, performers. Temmie got me the cat hat, hat that I've worn. I've worn all of these. This is the hat I got from the Field of Dreams game. I mean, I got a ton. This is the Fatherhood Festival that we did in in Canton. That's my rapid. My
Great,
rapid
great.
hat
And
trick.
I think he's definitely answered your question and then some.
Yeah. And by the way, I have a hat. The thing I get at Sports Weekend every year is a hat. So I have 20-something Sports Weekend hats.
So Brady, you got a question, or should we keep going and you want to listen?
That's an excellent question.
Okay.
Yeah. What is your opinion on the socioeconomic state of the world right now?
I think we're in bad times. It's tough. And again, it's I don't think, without getting political, look, the world has an inflation problem, and it's not just here. But I think that we have the ability to turn it around. Next week is a big moment with the elections coming up, and I think we will. But look, even I'm always been fortunate that I haven't had to worry about money, and it's been a privilege. Been very privileged to do that, and so I will champion for the greater good and understand that there's a lot of people who need a lot of help out there, and whatever it takes to get them the help, I'm going to support the people who want to help.
I'm just looking through some of the lists. I noticed Meredith wrote, are there any books? Everyone here knows you don't read. What other questions do we have?
I actually have.
I wanted to close out with a rapid fire.
Yeah, let's do a rapid.
Cat is your favorite.
Go ahead. So the question is, Braden and Marley, what's your favorite?
But I'm going to give a shout out to Jesse Cole, who has his fans' first book, which is great, and always Bob Berg. I had him on the show.
Sell more.
Go-Giver. The Go-Giver is a great book.
Marley asked, which is your favorite cat?
Who's my favorite cat?
Yeah.
Well, I would like to say it's Stewie, but Stewie doesn't hang out a lot. And right now, Buddy is the one who comes and lies on my chest and hangs out. So he's probably my favorite. Ariana is probably the friendliest throughout the day. I love them all, but I wish Stewie was more friendly. He was the one that I wanted.
Let you down. Well, I'm gonna let him know.
Okay. Bye, Marley.
Let's do this.
Okay, thanks for joining.
What's your favorite? Braden, you want to give a favorite?
She said, I'm going to let him know, not I'm going to go.
Yeah, we thought you said you were going to hang up. That's what
No, well, you can tell Stewie. He's gotten a little bit friendlier, but.
What's your favorite app?
My favorite app? Oh, I mean, I'm on LinkedIn more than anything. I don't know if it's my favorite, but that's the one I'm most active on. I like being on Twitter. I have so many apps on my phone that I don't use. I'm not a phone guy. I like to do everything sit in front of a computer.
Yeah. What's your favorite website?
My favorite website. I'm
Look
trying
at
to think. I mean, I'm probably on Facebook the most often if I'm thinking about it.
Honest answer?
Facebook.
Who's your favorite sibling? Just kidding.
Depends on what day of the week it is.
Braden, you want to do a rapid
Mondays or Wednesdays?
Yeah, days that end in Y.
What's your favorite shade of brown?
My favorite shade of brown is khaki.
Anyone else?
Any rapid fires before we?
Blue is my favorite color. It was my favorite color before I got to Gainesville. It was my favorite color. Blue and orange were always my favorite colors. And it's pretty ironic.
Boxers, briefs, or boxer briefs?
I wear like this boxers. I don't even know what you consider them.
At least you're wearing them.
Yeah.
Do you think she's the Pope?
No.
Very good. Well, listen, we are at overtime, so we do want to just say thank you so
No.
much.
One last question.
Rapid fire? Where's the rapid fire?
No. We did your rapid fire, but Matt.
Oh yeah, who would you want to meet? Go ahead.
Yeah. That's there you go. So that's the question that you always end with. So we'll throw it to you. Maybe we can all answer it here in the room, but we'll give you the first word on it. Lunch, dinner, alive or dead? Who you meeting?
I think it's alive. I think
a little bit different. That's a little bit different that question than I asked. The question
his question is alive.
If you could spend 24 hours with anyone in the world, they have to be alive and you can't be related to them. That's my question. I can answer yours, but I can also answer mine.
Answer yours. It's better than mine.
Yeah. So 250 episodes. We had a lot of great choices. And as I asked that question all throughout the time, my first instinct would be that it would be Obama would be the one. And but I think if I could have it happen, and you're talking about 24 hours, I think that Tim Tebow would be the person, and I'll tell you why. And Jason Bateman would be my number 3. Obama would be 2, and Tebow would be 1, because I'd love to play all kinds of sports with him. I'd love to spend some time talking to someone. And I think if you're with them 24 hours, I feel like it's just a lot harder for them to, like, not to say that Tebow or any of them would, but they're public figures. They're around a lot of people. They probably have to give a certain personality in some situations is not. If you're around someone 24 hours, I don't know that anyone would be that, that way the whole time. And so for Tebow, there's a lot I'd love to talk to him about and play sports. He's obviously a great athlete, but love to play all those sports. Obama is probably the number 1 answer that we've gotten. And I'd love to play some basketball and talk to him and, golf and all that. But I probably would choose Tebow if I could choose one.
Meredith, who's you going with?
I think we did this already. I think this is really just Matt's episode.
Huh.
But I don't think that Marley and Braden have answered.
Yeah, they could answer. I'd be interested to hear that.
I'm going to your question, but not to his. So.
Okay.
So never mind. Go ahead. You
Go.
don't want to make me sad. All right, go ahead.
I
Yeah, it's funny.
What's the question?
I'd rather spend 24 hours with somebody who's alive. Who?
Who's
That's
currently-
really nice.
The current king of Denmark is Braden's answer. I would say, to answer the question the way that you answer it, I'm going with Dave Grohl. I am fascinated by him and what he's done and all that sort of stuff. And then to answer the question the way that I had said it, would be Dad. I think if I had the opportunity to, as a parent, kind of, talk to him through some of these things, that would be my number 1 choice. But I could see Obama. I like the Tebow idea. Are you hitting his fastball, or is he hitting your fastball when you're, playing baseball?
I changed the question because people at the beginning, they were like, well, I want to spend a day with my wife, or even if it was just a family or someone like that. And that's an easy answer, and it's great. It probably would be mine too if I could choose anyone. But it's so that's why I choose that. And it's gotten some fascinating answers. Dave Grohl, I think, was picked before. Obama's probably number 1. A number of people would love to see Trump and Elon Musk. Somebody said Vladimir Putin, which obviously we'll never be able to make happen. My feeling is if you have enough money, you have enough influence, power, know the right people, you can make all this happen. And so that's why I asked this. We'll go back and hopefully make it happen for some of our guests.
Awesome. Mary, close us out.
What? Well, I was going to let you close us out, but sure, I'll take that. Thank you so much, Matt. You are an inspiration to us with all of the energy and enthusiasm and love that you put into this company and into this podcast. And we're very, very proud of you. And we really appreciate the opportunity to have this time with you on the Wolff Den.
I think you guys did a great job, and I appreciate the kind remarks, and we're going to keep going. I know it's just we got some more lined up, and maybe not as many every week, but we got to 250 pretty quick. I think we'll get to 500 maybe just as quick, and I'm looking forward to when this could be an actual podcast channels and have clips and table of contents, and people can really dive into the guests, because again, so many great guests, famous and people you've never heard of, great stories, and I'm in awe of some of the stories that of the people that we've had on, and they're inspiring to me. So that's why we do it, and that's it. I appreciate you guys doing this. It's great to have the family on, and that'll be a theme for our big. We had it before, family and 100th or 150th and 200th and now 250. So we'll keep that going. Unless we get like some ridiculously famous person to come on for 300.
Wonderful idea.
Well, we'll see you at Thanksgiving. We'll see you soon.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you next week, and then we'll see you guys at Thanksgiving. Thanks for tuning in. Appreciate it. We got great Wolff Den guests next week. Have a great weekend. Do something fun and do something